No one aboard the Galactic Council had ever imagined that centuries of stringent regulations on raising juvenile predators in zero-gravity starship environments could be undone by something as mundane, and yet profoundly human, as a mother's ingenuity and a 7-year-old child's mischievous courage. Yet here I stood, Ambassador Markellen, representing Earth aboard the diplomatic vessel Celestial Horizon, coffee in hand on the observation deck, watching my son, Eli, sprint across the cargo bay. With uncontainable delight, chasing 3 Lycaran cubs through stacks of cryocrates while wielding what the apex predator species believed to be humanity's deadliest portable weapon, a spray bottle purchased for 2 galactic credits from a station vendor named Lumo. And every step, every gleeful squirt of water, sent the highly trained Lycaran offspring scattering, shrieking in clicks and snaps as if being assaulted by a plasma cannon, while Commander Tharn Vrecaran, the 4-eyed exoskeleton, armored patriarch of the Lycaran delegation, rumbled in alarm and demanded repeatedly that I confiscate the weapon, convinced that his progeny were undergoing lethal combat drills under the guise of play. Yet I calmly assured him that it was nothing more than water, life essence in its simplest form, and let him observe as Eli spritzed the tiniest of cubs, prompting instinctive evasive maneuvers that, remarkably, created entirely new patterns of agility and reflex, leaving Tharn both horrified and awestruck, as if the humans had invented a way to teach tactical combat without violence, while I pressed my lips together to suppress laughter at the absurdity of it all, knowing that the same species, which had once conquered half their sector and bred their young from hatching for battle, were now being schooled in improvisational strategy by a 7-year-old wielding a plastic bottle of water. And when I stepped into the cargo bay to demonstrate, allowing Eli to squirt a fine arc of water into my hand and drink it to prove the harmlessness of the weapon, the Lycaran cubs crept closer, their glowing eyes wide with curiosity, while Tharn's mandibles clicked in disbelief and his daughter, Vexa, chirped inquisitively, asking if humans truly used their own life essence to teach combat, and I explained with weary amusement that on Earth, we train our children to think, to anticipate, to coordinate, and to play, sometimes even with apex predators, and that the essence of play was connection, growth, and cleverness, not domination. Yet as I only grew, and over the following week, the cubs began to follow Eli like apprentices to a legendary master, bombarding him with questions about earth-water weapons and moisture-based tactics, eagerly participating in improvised games like water balloon skirmishes and tactical freeze-tag, while the diplomatic implications of the hydro-combat methodology rippled through the council chambers, prompting Ambassador Keller of the Harmonious Collective to blink in disbelief as the Vrecaran delegation proposed a cultural exchange focused entirely on human juvenile training techniques, insisting that the children's adaptability, ingenuity, and use of life-essential resources as safe, controlled weapons be studied for the benefit of interspecies cooperation, and during a formal demonstration Eli, with the confidence only a child oblivious to centuries of fear and protocol could muster, executed maneuvers that improved the Cubs' coordination by measurable percentages, leaving even the most seasoned council members, including the crystalline archon of Loomis, marveling at the efficiency of play as an educational and strategic tool, while I watched quietly, proud yet apprehensive, as my son skipped, sprayed, and laughed, entirely unaware that his ordinary human creativity had challenged galactic norms, reshaped perceptions of our species, and introduced a philosophy of non-lethal adaptation to apex predators, conditioned for life-or-death combat from the moment they hatched. And when the council session erupted into debate, with some alien factions skeptical and others intrigued, it became clear that humanity's claim to relevance in the galactic stage was not through weapons or domination, but through the stubborn optimism, clever improvisation, and playful ingenuity that allowed a child to turn even the most dangerous creatures into willing collaborators, learning, growing, and respecting one another. And that evening, as I found Eli refilling his spray bottle for yet another round of aquatic maneuvers, he looked up at me with wide, earnest eyes and asked if he had frightened the cubs, and I smiled, ruffling his hair and explaining that he had made friends, taught lessons in patience and strategy, and reminded everyone, aliens and humans alike, that the most potent weapons were often the ones that required no killing at all, that the ability to adapt, to bond, and to play was the mark of intelligence and courage. And as he bounded back into the cargo bay, spray bottle in hand, 3 young Lycaran cubs crouching behind crates and clicking with excitement, I realized with a quiet, profound amusement that humanity had not earned its place on the Galactic Council by conquest or power or military genius, but by something far simpler yet infinitely more effective: ingenuity, compassion, and the stubborn, playful courage of its children, capable of teaching apex predators that the rules of survival could coexist with the joy of play, that learning could be disguised as fun, and that sometimes the universe's most formidable lessons came not from battlefields or advanced technology, but from the spray of water in the hands of a 7-year-old human who refused to take anything too seriously.